Welcome to watch the video on how to replace the X4R ESC and motor. Use a 4mm Allen wrench to remove the 2 screws on the deck. Use a 5mm Allen wrench to remove the screws on the top of the deck. Remove the grip tape and use a 3mm Allen wrench to remove the 2 screws. We continue to remove the grip tape and use a 3mm Allen wrench to remove the screws. When all the remaining screws are removed in the same way, the deck can be removed. It is recommended that the power supply be disconnected before replacing the ESC and motor. X4R ESC power wiring. The head power interface is connected to the left ESC, and the tail power interface is responsible for the right ESC. X4R ESC, the right ESC is responsible for the 2 motors at the head, and the left ESC is responsible for the 2 motors at the tail. After disconnecting the power supply, use a 3mm Allen wrench to remove the fixing screws on the left and right sides of the controller housing. Continue to use the 2.5mm Allen wrench to remove the 2 screws at the bottom. Use a 2.5mm Allen wrench to remove the 4 fixing screws on the ESC. Before disconnecting all ESC connections, please take a photo to save the current connection status before starting to disassemble. Using a Phillips screwdriver, remove the set screws for all wires. Finally, I warn you again. Be sure to disconnect the battery power before disassembling the power cord, otherwise the battery will be damaged. After disconnecting the antenna, we can remove the ESC. Next, let's start disassembling the motor. The motor wires are protected inside the slot, so remove them first. Use a 3mm Allen wrench to remove all the screws. After removing the screws, you can gently lift the circuit cover, but do not remove it to prevent damage to the circuit. Use a 5mm wrench to remove the 2 outer fixing screws on the motor. Use a 4mm wrench to remove the last set screw. Next, we will start disassembling the motor wires. Here, we need to patiently pull out the wires one by one. You will get stuck here. If the motor is damaged beyond repair, it is recommended that you cut the link wire directly. However, if you still need to continue to use it, please clean the glue on the interface and then use the thimble to remove the wire. Straighten the motor wire, hold it tightly, and push it inward to remove the motor wire. This process will require some patience. Master the technique of pushing the wire from the outside to the inside, and the process will become easy. The same is true for removing the motor wires. Push the wires in from the outside and push the motor out. The motor on the other side can be disassembled by the same operation. To protect the wire from damage during threading, wrap it with insulating tape. Insert the motor wire through the side entrance and then adjust the position of the motor wire in the top window. Adjust the motor line and motor position after passing through. The same operation is used for the motor line on the other side, but the line position needs to be constantly adjusted during this process. When necessary, you can use tools to assist in stringing. First, fix the belt to the motor synchronous wheel. Tighten one screw to 1/3 of the position, adjust the belt position and fix it above the tension wheel. Then start installing the remaining screws. Install the remaining screws. Use a 4mm Allen key to install the screws. Adjust the belt tension by pulling back on the motor bracket. The motor on the other side is installed in the same way. Pass the motor wire through the hole on the outside of the circuit cover. The same operation should be performed when the motor line on the other side passes through the wire cover. After everything is passed through, rearrange the wiring harness. Measure the length of the motor wires suitable for installation and mark them. So we need to straighten the wires as much as possible to avoid having too many wires exposed in the future. Remove the tape from the wire. Using wire cutters, remove any excess insulation. When you remove it, you will find a broken green wire. Please cut it off as it has no function. After removing the excess rubber sleeve, use tape to wrap the wires. Next, we will insert the motor wires through the holes one by one. Next, let's install the hall wires of different colors into the corresponding sockets. Please be sure to install them in the order of colors. After the hall lines of the two motors are connected, use tape to fix the upper line into the card slot to prevent it from being squeezed and damaged when installing the line cover. After aligning the mounting holes, press and install the wire cover. Straighten the excess wire. Now start installing the new ESC and remove all the screws on it. Please be careful when connecting the power cord. Red is at the bottom and black is at the top. When tightening the screws, you only need to apply force. Remember not to use too much force, otherwise the screw holes will be damaged. Install the wires in the order of green, yellow, and blue. The same is true on the other side. To install the antenna, you need to put the insulating heat shrink sleeve on the outside of the antenna. Then connect it and heat it with hot air from a hairdryer. After the antenna is connected, it needs to be fixed with tape to prevent it from being squeezed and damaged by the capacitor during installation. Then proceed to connect Hall, power switch, and light control. Let's take a look at the state of the circuit after assembly. Before assembling the ESC, it is recommended to match the remote control first. Press the power button on the remote control first, then turn on the board, and then press and hold until you hear a prompt tone and the light flashes. Then, press the buttons on both sides of the remote control screen with both hands to complete the matching. Then, repeat the operation on the other side. When two battery signals flash on the screen, the matching is completed. If the signal is missing, repeat the operation until two signals appear. Then we reinstall the screws of the wire cover. Here we will use some bayonet pins to secure the wires and keep them in the wire cover. Finally, the extra wiring harness on the edge can be adjusted, such as pulling it back a little bit into the battery compartment. Retighten the 4 screws on the ESC, restore the housing, and restore the deck. The replacement and installation of the motor and ESC are complete. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact us.